much for being here today. Really excited to be able to share the April paper pumpkin kit with you today. These card making kits where everything comes in a box and it's a simple project with instructions, everything's pre-cut. They are just so much fun. If you are learning to make cards or wanting some simple projects you can work on that don't make a lot of mess, or looking for a gift for someone, like you want to have some stamping friends and you're not quite sure how to get somebody into it, these kits are perfect. So let's go ahead. I want to share this kit with you. Now, before we do, I thought about changing my shirt before I came down to make this video. And I was like, you know what? I think my stamping friends want to see my crazy chicken lady shirt. I got this at Tractor Supply the other day for $6. I was like, oh yes, I need some crazy chicken lady shirts. This one says, everyone was thinking it. I just said it. I got a couple other ones too. So hopefully that made your day better, seeing my crazy chicken lady shirt. So let's go ahead and talk about this month's paper pumpkin. Here you can see some of the contents from this month's kit. It came with materials for 9 cards. It came with the envelopes, die cuts. We got a Melon Mambo Stampin' Spot this month, our little ink pad, and the stamp set, which I have all the stamps removed at the moment. I've been using them, but it came with a caterpillar, small butterfly where you can only see the one side of the wings, and then a larger butterfly. Some really nice greetings. Every day is a new day. I am so proud of who you've become. Beautiful things take time. I believe in you, and may this new season hold wonderful new experiences. Plus a nice little design stamp. I love little design stamps because there are always lots of ways to use those. So on the cards, this is the instruction booklet that comes with the kit. I love how we have color pictures, shows exactly what to stamp, where to put your dimensionals, your adhesive, which also comes in the kit, and then just how to assemble everything. Now, I always like to mention, for anyone new or anyone who hasn't heard this before, you can scan this with your phone. Just pull out your camera, hold it up to this, and a little thing will pop up and asking you if you want to go to the website. You can go to that website and see more about this kit and how to put it together, which can be really helpful. So on the 3 cards that were pre-designed, we have 3 different themes. The name for the kit is Change is Beautiful, and we have 3 different themes of change, which I really like. The one is the moon and the stars with the little shooting star and the sun on the inside. The one is the flowers growing from a small plant to having a flower bud and then blooming. And then the other one is the caterpillar, the chrysalis, the caterpillar, and the butterfly. So let me show you the cards I made just like this month's kit, just like they were designed on the instructions that I just showed you. And then I have lots of fun things to share with you. I have quite a few alternative ideas to share, and we're going to make 2 right here with you. I'm going to show you how to make a version of a shaker card with these materials, and then these are some fun folds, and I'm going to share with you how to make an even let's say even funner fun fold with our fun fold design. So I'm sure that may not have made much sense right now, but you'll understand once we get there. So let's look at the shooting star card first. This is really fun. It comes with the cutouts, so you just have to punch them out, which is really simple. I like to use my piercing tool for my take your pick tool to do that. And then the die cuts for the clouds and the star were there. I popped those up using the dimensionals that came with the kit. And when you open it up, you can stamp your greeting in here. Here's the sun for the new day. This would be great for somebody going through difficult times. And we have these really cute little iridescent embellishments. So that's the one card that I did basically the same way as shown in the instructions. Here is one of these Z fold cards. The other 2 designs were all Z folds. And I put the caterpillar over here. The little embellishments kind of look like its feet. And when we open it up, we can see the chrysalis, and then popped up the butterfly. I put a greeting here like shown in the instructions, and then I decided to put the other one here. These are printed on the back side, so if you want more space to sign and do a greeting where it's not visible right here in the front, you can definitely use the back, but I just decided to stamp both greetings right there. And then the third one, the flower one, has the little tag that when you attach this, you want to make sure just to put your dimensionals over here on the side. If you put one over here, you will attach your card shut. And then as it pops open, added these floral die cuts, and then flip it over, and here is the greeting I put on the back. Now let's look at some of my alternative ideas. This first one, I kept it pretty simple, and I just used a couple of the die cuts, left it just the same as it was. I stamped "Beautiful things take time" on the tag, decided to turn it sideways. Who says our greetings always have to be horizontal? So that's a little bit different. Added the butterfly tag here. And then we have the space on the back to sign and add a more detailed message if I want to. Some of these I didn't stamp all the greetings because these could be for a lot of things. They could be for birthdays. They could be for kind of milestones in life, like a graduation or a new job or moving or a marriage. So some of these I just decided to leave them that way, and I can add another greeting later if I want to. Now let's look at the ones what I did next. I started to take some of these card bases and cut them into multiple pieces to be able to get more cards out of them. So the first one I'll share with you. I'll pull this card in so you know which one we're looking at. So this was the card piece I started with, and I cut it into several pieces. So I cut the large panel off the back, and then I cut these two smaller panels apart as well. So here's the card I made with this panel. I just trimmed that to fit my card front, trimmed 2 slices off of the right side to add a little bit of interest, stamped that greeting, and added the clouds. I really like how this turned out, and it was really simple to create. And then the other one that I created with these two, what I did was I created a gatefold card using another card base. So this piece measured 4 1/4 by 11. I trimmed an 8.5 by 11 sheet in half, hot dog style, the long way. And then I scored it at 2 3/4 inches from this side and flipped it around, and 2 3/4 inches from this side. And I believe these fit then. I may have had to trim just a tiny bit, but added these panels on the front, stamped the greeting, added a couple of embellishments, and stamped this for the inside using those greetings in the set. I did pull in a happy birthday from a different set that I'll show you here in just a second. So I really liked how those turned out. Now with the other card base, the other Z fold, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. The moon and the stars card. So I cut this one apart and I created 2 cards. So for the piece on the front, I just attached that over a crushed curry card base. I used dimensionals so you can see the pop-ups and those cutouts a little bit better. Added the cloud and the star. The "I believe in you" stamp fit really well on that cloud, so I used that. And that was very simple to come together. And then for the piece on the inside, I created another card. And this one I still need to add a greeting to, but I just took that panel and I trimmed 1/4 inch off of each side and attached those pieces as they were before I cut them. Thought that added some really nice interest. So I took those card bases, created 2 cards with them instead of 1, as you can see. Now you can always use these exactly as intended, but I know for you creatives out there, a lot of times you like to have some different ideas. So that's why I come up with these other ideas for you. Now here is one. This was the card base I started with, and I thought it would be fun, call me crazy, I thought it would be fun to cut out these really pretty flowers and leaves in the background. Now, if you find coloring therapeutic, I find fussy cutting kind of therapeutic sometimes. So I had fun doing that. It only took me a few minutes. But what I did, I cut this panel off and I left just 1/8 inch on the right side of the fold here. So I used that 1/8 inch, I put glue on it, and I attached it to a basic black piece that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I believe, so that I replaced this back panel with just a piece of black. Then I put my cardstock mats on top. I stamped them, of course, And I took these pieces that I had cut out. I put the one right here, and then if you can see the front panel, what it did look like, it just had the little hill and the plant there. I placed these leaves here and added the little flower die cuts on top. So that was a fun change for that one. Now, since I cut my cards apart and I created them the way I did, I had quite a few die cuts left. So let me share with you what a couple of my cards I created with the die cuts, and then we're going to do some creating with those 2 cards I mentioned at the beginning. This one here, I had those caterpillar die cuts left, so I used one of our new stamp sets coming here in just a couple of weeks in the new annual catalog, Botanical Layers. I am loving these leaves. I've created some really pretty cards with them already. Stamped those leaves in the background. I stamped the butterflies using the stamps in the set, and I will mention this. So this stamp right here, this little butterfly stamp, looks just like this if I stamp it the correct way. And I'm looking at it, realizing I actually stamped that upside down, which was funny. Hopefully whoever I send this to doesn't stare at it long enough to realize I stamped that upside down, but I will not use that as a reason not to send it to someone. So I stamped it once, but then I realized, you know what? If I stamp that 2 times, I think it will actually look like a butterfly where you can see all of its wings. So I stamped it once this direction and I turned it around 180 degrees and stamped it again. And I got it a little bit crooked, but I think that looks really nice. I think it looks like the antenna and then kind of like a little tail down on the bottom. So that's something you can try with a stamp if you want to. And then this stamp was in the set, of course. And that's how that card came together with the extra caterpillar die cuts. Now let's look at this one. I created this with the extra moon and stars die cuts that I had punched out from the fronts of those cards. They were black on the front and white on the back, so I flipped them over the back side, laid them onto a Daffodil Delight ink pad and gave it a good press to cover that white surface with ink, and then just popped these up on that embossed background. And my last one I created with some of those extra die cuts. This one I thought turned out just beautifully. I had 2 of those flower die cuts left, so I used this one whole. I cut this one in half and attached it, as you can see, and then stamped this congratulations. This is a nice stamp set, this Peaceful Moments that I used, that birthday greeting I used a little bit ago came from it. Congratulations. And I feel like I used another one, but I'm not sure which one at the moment. So that's where this came from. So lots and lots of ideas for you. Now let's actually create a couple right here. Let's do this my funner fold. I called it a funner fold a little bit ago, I think. So let's take the fun fold, the Z fold card, and we are going to turn it into a double Z fold card. So what I have done, and I have to remember myself here. So this was attached right here on this card. When you unfolded it, looks like this. What I did was I cut off about 1 inch of that card so that I get this strip. Now, if you don't want your card to become shorter, what you can do is trim off 1 inch from another piece of cardstock and just score it in the same locations as this piece is scored. Now, what I'm going to do is change the way it was folded. It was folded this way. I believe I need to fold it around the other way. What we're going to do is attach this down here. We attach the left side here, we attach this back piece right here, and we are going to end up with a double Z fold card. Before I do that though, I want to do some stamping on it. And I decided I want to stamp that little caterpillar over here. I want to do like the change, the metamorphosis, the whole change. So we're going to go through, we don't have a chrysalis stamp, but I'll go from the caterpillar to a little butterfly as if it is just opening up. Then we'll put in the larger butterfly with its wings open. And I do want to stamp a greeting on the inside. stamp this one, this Every Day is a New Day. I thought that was a really nice one for lots of occasions. It could be a birthday, it could be many of those life changes I mentioned a little bit ago. So what we need to do now is attach adhesive to the left side of this section and this right panel over here. You don't want to get adhesive in extra places, because if you do, you may glue your really neat Z-fold card. You may attach it shut. Okay, so I'll lay it where I want it, give it a good press, and here we have our double Z-fold card. Now I wanted to add this butterfly die cut over here on the right side. We'll add that here. And then I can add a couple of those embellishments if I want to. So that's how you can turn your Z-fold card bases into a double Z-fold. Now let's create a version of a shaker card. This won't work exactly like a shaker card, but I think it should have a similar effect. So I have one of these Moon and Stars card bases. I didn't change this at all. I just added the star and the cloud here on the front. And what I want to do is seal this part up so that we can put some sequins in there. So I'm going to seal it up with a piece of our window sheet, this piece of acetate. And to attach this piece on, I don't have to have it sealed all the way around the edges, but I do want to make sure it's attached down nicely. So I am going to put some of my seal just in assorted places here between the moon and the stars. Get this attached down centered. I cut this piece just a tiny bit smaller than the actual card. Okay, so we'll attach that down first. Next, I'm going to add some of these sequins on top, and then I've prepared this piece, which is crushed curry, I believe, and I put some tear and tape adhesive all the way around the outside. To go ahead and be prepared, I'll remove the paper backing from this, and I love to do this. You can do it with your fingernails if you don't have any problems, but I find that I have really good luck just piercing the side, poking at the side of that with my piercing tool, and it lifts it up and makes it really easy to remove that paper backing. So now I just have that adhesive around the outside. What I want to do is take a few sequins and sprinkle these. And I am going to leave them, I'm going to try to place them in areas where you're going to see them behind the stars and behind the moon, because once I attach this, it is very possible they may not move very much. Since we won't have that extra space in here like with a normal shaker card, I am just trying to get them where I want them and put that piece on. Now, if you really want to make sure these stay in place, there's a couple of things you can do. One, you can use some glue to attach them in those spots where they'll stay. And I'm just going to add some extras in case we do get some shaking action, then we'll have lots of sequins to be able to see. So if you do want to keep them in place, like I said, glue them, or you can put adhesive in all of the areas between the stars after we're done. And what that would do would hold all the open areas down so that there's not as much space for the sequins to shake around. So we'll try that. Now I'm just going to flip this upside down, get it lined up carefully, and give it a good press. You do want to try to use some thin sequins. If you have any that pop up a whole lot, that may not work very well with this. I thought about creating a traditional shaker card with the foam pop-ups to give it extra space, everything space to move around and shake, and doing that would have required cutting off the front of the card from the back of the card, and I thought this was just kind of a fun, simple way to create the effect of a shaker card without doing a ton of work to it. So there you can see those pretty sequins and shakers in there. And that's another fun way to use this kit. So hope you enjoyed seeing these ideas. I really had fun creating them to share with you. Now, if you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, what you can do, use the link in the video description below to go and you can sign up and try it for a month. It costs $23 and includes all the materials and the stamps and the mini ink pad and your adhesives. And it's really nice. You can keep those stamps and the ink pad and add them to your collection. It's a nice way to build up some of the colors. The ink pads are perfect for using with the Stamparatus, for inking your stamps on the Stamparatus and creating less of a mess. But I hope you enjoyed this. Take a look at Paper Pumpkin. If you're not a subscriber, there's no way to go back and order the previous kits. But if you are a subscriber, you can always go back and order refills or more of the kits if you are interested. Thanks so much for watching along. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope to see you again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.